Coming off of your last fight, you said you couldn't quite put your finger on what went wrong there. But what changes have you made after that?
Now, for now, I feel really good. I had a good camp, and yeah, I feel like this one has to be mine.
What did you make any changes after that Ciryl
Yes,
Gane
I
loss?
did.
What
I went
specifically?
back to the boxing school. Didn't do for a long time. Work on my head movement. Get my hands more on the guys. So um, tomorrow it has to be fire. Anyway, down, up, because I'm back.
In terms of your training, you're with American Top Team.
Correct.
You've been there now for, I think, if we spoke this week, 6 camps
Yes.
with them.
Correct.
So where do you feel most involved under the tutelage of the American Top Team coaches?
Mostly with the wrestling.
Yes.
And the improvement is large. If I say from a 4, I went to 6, 7. And yeah, I'm satisfied the way it's going. So yeah.
In this fight, you mentioned that your opponent doesn't like to fight going backwards. How do you plan to capitalize on that?
I mean, my head movement, approaching with my left, right. Soon as I hit him, he has to go backwards, and then I can finish it off right there.
You've gotten opportunities back-to-back main events, just 3 months apart. You said another fight is another opportunity. How do you
Correct.
plan to make this opportunity a victorious one for you?
Now, I mean, tomorrow I'm bringing the fire to the octagon. Doesn't matter where the fight go. I want to win. Doesn't matter how, and I'm gonna work it in there.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Heidi. Yeah, he talks about having another main event. Anthony, he has said the fight with Ciryl Gane, like, he doesn't really know what happened in that one. And that is a thing that happens to you guys as fighters. You can have all the preparation in the world, and sometimes you just kind of lay an egg.
Yeah, I did the same thing with Jon Jones. That was my big opportunity, and I got in there, and sometimes it's just different when you're in there than it did when you were looking at it in training. Sometimes the X's and O's don't really matter. I think it's what you do next. That's what matters. So I think this is his opportunity to prove to the world that he doesn't know what happened. You can say that, but a lot of times people are going to say, "Oh, well, you just lost. You're making excuses." This is his chance to show that that's not who he actually is.
And Michael, when we do see that, I mean, he's here in an opportunity to level up and reestablish himself.
Yeah, 100%. I think it all boils down to him getting on the front foot. He's so good at counter-striking, and that comes from his years in kickboxing. When you are a kickboxer and you are a heavyweight, it's known within the UFC that heavyweight kickboxers have a ton of success. But when you get so good at countering and your opponents start to figure that out, they just keep you on your back foot, and they just kind of easily win a decision. I mean, Ciryl Gane cruised through that fight pretty handedly, and I felt Jairzinho should have gave him more problems. So I think it's just imperative that he's got to get on the front foot and remind the people what makes him so good. Remind them of the 2 blitzing KOs you made your debut with here in the UFC. Remind the fans that you are the biggie boy.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Gane is a high variance, low volume striker. It's a lot of bullets being shot at your head. Those are really hard to counter. In this fight, I don't think he's going to have that problem. Sakai's output. His output is second to none in this division. He just goes and goes and goes and goes. He's going to give Jairzinho plenty of opportunities to counter him. I don't think that he needs to just sit back and wait, though. I think he needs to push forward. He's got to get those hands going. He's got to get his output up.
Yeah. Well, also, Mike, I was going to ask you about Sakai, because when we look at the heavyweight division right now, there is sort of a mix of veterans and new blood, right? So what does he have at stake? Sort of what's the opportunity at hand for Sakai?
Well, for Sakai, I mean, he can take Jairzinho's spot. Jairzinho's number 6 right now, just like us. And he's riding number 9. So he goes and beats the number 6 guy. Essentially, I feel like you should always take that person's spot. And then that leaves you in the wings to fight the upper echelon of the heavyweight division. We're talking the Stipe Miocic's. We're talking Curtis Blades. We're talking the upper echelon of the heavyweight division that's kind of been established for a really long time. So this is an opportunity for him to make a move and shake up the top half of these rankings.
Well, I think the pressure is really on Jairzinho right now to hold his spot. He's getting another opportunity here in the main event. That doesn't always happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the pressure is really on his head right now. I think Sakai's in a kind of a no-lose situation right now. I think a lot of people are kind of sleeping on him. I don't think they expect him to really push the pace too much. I think a lot of people expect Jairzinho to go in and do what he does. So I think he's in a fantastic situation here.
But you can also look at, and I hate to do perennial matchups, but sorry to interrupt,
go
Karen,
for
but
it.
look at how Sakai did against Overeem. It wasn't his best night out, but up until things went wrong, he looked really good. And you compare the matchup to when Jairzinho fought Overeem, I think people
Well,
are kind
then
of
what
sleeping on
happened
Sakai a
here
little bit.
in that fight,
I know,
Michael?
but still, I'm just saying you got to find the good things in those shortcomings. And Sakai had a lot of good opportunities in that fight, more than Jairzinho did against Overeem. It's just the difference is he had that 1 second that was very imperative on him winning that fight.
Absolutely.
So I think people are sleeping on Sakai.
Well, and there's also, Anthony, I'll ask you, since you have actually shared the octagon with Jon Jones, but we have to remember that Jon Jones is a figure that also might just sort of jump in and throw everything, make everything crazy in the division.
And that's what Jon Jones does. He kind of just throws wrenches in a lot of things. And here's the deal. Jon Jones could come into the heavyweight division and just lay waste to the entire thing. That's absolutely a possibility. So a lot of these guys, they got to shake and move the best they can right now because they may not have that opportunity. Jon Jones could come in right now and everybody immediately moves back one position. So you got to move forward as fast as you can.
Yeah, Jon Jones can call a shot against anybody in the division except Francis because he's calling for that shot and they're saying the UFC's drawing a hard line. Whatever. Let's forget the politics. But Jon Jones could come in here and really shake things up. Hey, I want to fight you. And everybody's just going to have to wait in the wings for Jon Jones to do whatever Jon Jones wants to do.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.